welcome you all to the webinar series presented by UniApply Reimagine. In last 2 years, we have come across a tough time. We had a tough journey. If we talk about education, any other businesses, we all had to reimagine and rethink what needs to be done uh, to give a fresh start, to revamp the entire ecosystem of businesses or education. So today we are going to discuss a very important topic with our eminent panelists who are the school principal with us today. And the topic is back to school, decoding the admission process for schools in Gurugram. So I have my panelists with us. So before I give an introduction of my panelist, I'm Ritesh Chawla and I represent uniapply.com. For all the viewers, UniApply is a school admission application platform which is helping to transform and digitize the school application and admission process. UniApply is basically a product of no paper form. So in today's topic, we are basically going to discuss back to school. We have seen schools were there online, schools, buildings were closed, but school were actually run and open for the parent and student. So without taking much time, I would just like to introduce my eminent panelists. So firstly, I would like to introduce Ms. Kanika Ghai. Ma'am is the principal of Suraj School, Sector 56, Gurugram. Welcome, ma'am. So we have another panelist, Ms. Shalini Bajaj. Ma'am is head of school, principal of the Maurya School, Sector 2, Gurugram. Welcome, Shalini, ma'am.
Thank you, Ritesh. It's my honor to be on.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would like to introduce our next panelist. So we have Mrs. Vandana Khanna. Ma'am is the founder principal of the Venkateshwara School, Sector 57, Gurgaon. Welcome, Vandana, ma'am.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on this platform.
Next, please. So now I would like to introduce Mrs. Shalu Babbar, ma'am. Ma'am is principal with GD Goenka High School, Gurgaon. Welcome, Shalu, ma'am. Okay, so without taking much time, we will directly go to the topic where I am going to ask a lot of questions to the principals and will expect their reply. And this will help parents to understand that how school are equipped now to go to the new normal and see the new situation. Now schools are open after almost the gap of 23 months, right? So schools are a new challenge. I'm sure school are trying to give every comfort to the parent and the student so that in the large amount of number they can bring back student back to the school. And this is the topic we chose to discuss today so that parents feel more confident and more aware that what schools are actually doing and what sort of a challenge they are facing and how they are overcoming to that so that student can be benefited at large. So I will, first of all, I will go to Shalini ma'am for my first question. So ma'am, since you know that now schools are reopening and schools are in a phase where school are in a hybrid mode, right? Where teachers has to manage the physical classes as well as the online classes. So do you think that how long we can sustain with the same set of model and how challenging is it? If you would like to share some of your experience, ma'am.
Thank you, Ritesh. We did try out, hybrid model in this ongoing session also when Haryana government gave us the permission to start with offline classes. Not many parents were interested in sending their children to the school. So what we quickly did was, we have approximately 7 to 10 sections per class. So one section completely we converted into an offline section. But later on, on everyday basis, we started getting requests. They would want to send their children to school. Now, the next section we could not complete before again, this Omicron variant became rampant. So the next section was our hybrid model. And believe me, it's very ineffective.
Right.
Why? The teacher has to, keep a tab on both online and offline. She had two ways, to conduct her class. One was using a stylus, writing on the smart board, where she would be interacting with the offline children sitting, and online children would then will be neglected. Or the other way was we provided her with a tablet, so she could write on the tablet, and simultaneously the online children could see it on their screens, and the children in the class would see it on the smart board. Now again, the problem was that the children who had actually come to the school to study, they were again getting neglected. So this
Right.
model was not very effective.
Right.
So what we decided, from this year, when the government now has uplifted, removed all the restrictions, and we can have the school in the offline mode completely, but still some parents will not be comfortable. We thought we'll keep these two things apart:
Right.
offline and online, completely online section and completely offline sections.
Right. So one thing is pretty sure and evident that teachers has learned a lot in last 1 year, last 2 years, in fact, right? Whether adopting a technology to deliver education, or now they have to adopt, and put efforts to bring back students to the new normal. Not the new normal, of course. They were in a practice, right? But there is a huge gap of those who took admission 2 years back in the primary section, or let's say the foundation classes. Now they will come to school after 2 years, and for them it will be a new experience. So I will go to, in fact, Vandana ma'am, to ask my next set of questions, because ma'am, reopening is a good news, but reopening means bringing back the entire set of students to the school, and school needs to ensure everything is in place, right from bus to classroom to washroom to the drinking water dispenser and everything. And that is a sort of a logistical challenge, because after 2 years it was a huge break, right? And school needs to take care each and everything. So how schools are coping up with this situation, ma'am?
Yes, an important question from the point of view of parents also. How are the schools coping up? See, it's not very difficult when we have a good, efficient team working for us. And we are very well aware of the COVID scenario, COVID norms, and the COVID protocol that we need to follow. So right from the gate of the school, the entrance of the school, whether it is a temperature check or whether it is sanitization, and children also, I would give credit to parents. Children are very aware of not removing the mask. Little ones, especially more than the senior and the middle school, the primary section is very aware of wearing diligently the mask. Now, the school, what all we have to do is keep in check that children are not crowded in a class. So we thankfully have a huge campus where the size of the classroom is big, and we need not have alternative roll numbers coming in. So our strength, we are getting about 60 to 70% in different classes. Some classes could be 50% at an average, some classes could be less, but more or less at an average, 60 to 70% children are coming. And to keep in mind that COVID protocol is followed, teachers and the team are working towards it. Children are very aware. Of course, the senior school has got the vaccination done. That is also taken care of. And to attract the children to come to school, there is a lot that we are trying, and counseling the children, counseling the parents. Parents are reluctant. Some are very willing, because especially the junior children, their parents are very willing to send the children to school. And therefore, we have a good strength in the primary and to some extent in the middle school also. Now, different opportunities we are creating for children, different platforms we are creating for children. Like, for example, we very recently, last week only, we had our school sports day. We are planning a graduation ceremony for our little ones. We will see that, we have limited number of parents coming in or limited number of children coming in. Selective, we are selecting the classes. The whole school need not participate in one go. So we are planning that, like in the month of last week of January, we had our virtual annual day. Also, some activities were there in the first week of February when the school had not yet reopened. And those virtual events that we had hosted, we gave the opportunity to children when they came to school to come up on stage, because that is what that they have been missing on, to be with their peers, to be with their friends, and to be appreciated, applauded on stage, to perform, and to be back into the campus with great cheer and happiness. So creating opportunities where children will again feel comfortable, because of course there is a fear in the mind of our children that there is COVID, there is a scare of falling ill, and they have been, of course, talking about the family or relatives and certain friends who've been, a victim of this pandemic. But if we make them comfortable in school, if we talk to them, we counsel them that there's nothing to be worried or scared of. And also when we are understanding slowly that parents are also understanding that this COVID is not easily going, it may reduce in numbers, it may vary in its variant from month to month, but when it's not going to go easy, so we have to find different ways and means to attract the children to back to campus. So various activities we have created so that children come, enjoy, participate, and all that they have been missing on. It's not that there were not enough events or activities online, there were, but then to be out into the open in the field, especially in sports, and practical learning, experiments in the labs, see whether it is robotic lab in school, maths lab in school, or the science labs. There has been limited use during the COVID times, even though teachers were going into the campus with children at home, watching the teachers perform and give a demo online, but that is not enough. It's very important that children come to the campus. So we are keeping in mind that all COVID protocols are followed, whether it is sanitization of the furniture or fumigation is required. And teachers are there, monitoring everything, and wherever we need that we need to, counsel the child, we are doing that. And it's not so much that to worry about. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Vanda ma'am. In fact, Vanda ma'am mentioned one very important line that there are some challenges, like there's a certain percentage which are the turnout ratio is good from the primary section, and it is relatively less from the senior secondary, or let's say secondary section. So in fact, I have a related question for Shalu ma'am. So Shalu ma'am, as you know that there are three sections: primary, secondary, and senior secondary. So what are the unique challenges from this section to section to bring back them to school? I'm sure there is certain percentage, like Vanda ma'am mentioned, that there is a higher turnout from the primary section. So what are the unique challenges from all these section, if you can tell us?
Ritesh, very valid question. Actually, we have different kind of challenges per se, the different age groups that we are handling.
Right.
Of course, the senior students understand the pandemic situation. They have been reading about it. We have been talking to them about it, and they have seen situations right in their homes where there were patients and isolation and quarantine were vocabulary which was added into their minds. Right. They are aware, but at the same time, surprisingly, because they are teenagers, they will be little reluctant to follow the same protocol which otherwise has to be followed. Whereas if we talk to primary or pre-primary and make them understand, they are the ones who really follow whatever the school or the parents do tell them. But I think now we are in a situation where everybody understands the relevance of good health, hygiene, and following basic social distancing etiquettes and other such norms to make sure that they are safe. Now, if I look at individualized channel with pre-primary, of course, keeping them behind mask the whole day is a very big challenge. They may not want to wear it. They will remove it. They will not understand that they don't have to touch different parts in the class, and then they have to wash hands. So there will be so many such challenges wherein we have to very closely monitor that how many times they are washing hands, are they using their mask properly, are they maintaining social distance? Because I have observed that pre-primary children, when they came back after a very long period of pandemic, the very fact that they wanted to hug their classmates was a beautiful sight to watch. So this is one challenge in pre-primary, perhaps. In primary, you will notice that these children are following the instructions to the minutest detail. They
Right.
will do what the parents have told them. I have interacted with so many children of late. Even if the mother says remove your mask, they don't, because they have that thing in their mind that they have to follow this instruction. So I think
Right.
that age group is for us, that is one strata which is easy to control, and they will follow the instructions carefully and properly. The higher grades, like I told you, they obviously they will wear mask and follow social distancing and other norms. But yes, because they are out in the fields, they are playing, they are talking all the time to their friends. So there it becomes little difficult to make sure that these instructions are applied wholeheartedly. And of course, we don't see that many children coming from higher grades. I think they've started liking the online scenario and the hybrid models. So I think these are a couple of challenges which I see as per the grades.
So there is a current issue that we have come across, like parents are opposing examination. So examination is a fear for a senior kids to come back to school.
I think it's a fear everywhere. When you say exams, it's like, you will be judged, you will be evaluated, and everything basis the marks will define the child. It's a mindset. Examinations, evaluations, and assessments is a mindset. Somewhere we need to change that. It is
Right.
just a reflection of what you have done in your class. It's not the criteria which defines you. So
Right.
that is, I think, a very basic mindset shift for examinations. Yes, children are scared, especially higher grades, because see, online teaching has not been that impactful for them.
Of course.
I've met parents where they've expressed that the child was very regular, they've attended all classes, did their work well, and also we've seen cases where the reverse happened. The children were, of course, online, but the cameras were switched off and they were not really there. For them, if I have to conduct an exam, it's going to be little scary, as they are not that prepared for writing. And 2 years is a very, very long time.
Right.
They are out of practice of writing. But maybe if I change to an online mode of examination where it's an MCQ based, or they have to type their responses, perhaps that may bring some positivity.
So before I take the view of the other panelists on this question, I would like to introduce Kanika ma'am. She's with us. So Kanika Ghai ma'am is the principal of the Suraj School, Sector 56, Gurugram. So welcome, Kanika ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
So I'll come to you, Kanika ma'am. I'll just quickly take the view of Vandana ma'am on this examination issue, and if that is a hurdle to bring back the senior, or let's say the senior secondary kids to back to school.
Yes, definitely. I agree to some extent. Senior children do need regular reminders for the importance of education. Children, in the online scenario have taken it very easy, a very casual approach towards education, and they think that, exams are going to be easy option as compared to the board examination and the stress that the children felt earlier. In the COVID times, they're thinking that syllabus, when it is divided into 2 terms, they have got objective questioning as an option. They feel that they can take a back seat and they can relax. So we need counselors, we need to take their workshops, and we need to have panelists in school as well to counsel them, to guide them. And senior teachers are also taking their regular, counseling sessions to motivate them, encourage them, and of course to brief them of what lies in future, what difficulties they will face in life if they do not, get into a regular mode of reading and studying habits.
Right.
So it is a challenge, but it is not very difficult also, because when teachers who have been just teaching them in an online scenario, when they come back to school and again they are friends with teachers, that bond that is with the student and teachers is back. then they understand. And of course, like I said, we need to encourage them with different activities and involving them in different things, whether it is their practicals and experiments or different other events that we may line up, just so that children are diverted also. Just like we at home, a family at home needs an occasion to be out, or a wedding to attend, or a party to meet friends, that socializing that is missing in these past 2 years. Similarly, children also, they need to once again feel that bond with friends, with peers, that sense of competition that needs to come in, especially in senior classes before the exams, that yes, there is a competition between students also, which is a healthy competition in scores that they need to perform better. And of course, when they are back to school, teachers are clarifying their doubts. They are also revising with them. See, one thing is to just before the exams revise, give them practice worksheets. But our instruction to the teachers is that please teach once again. Clarity of concepts is very important. Subject knowledge is very important. They need not go to be promoted to other classes next class, or be outside after class 12 when they pass out. They need not go without clarifying their doubts or concepts, because subject knowledge is important. Marks are not everything. So children must get complete subject knowledge, because of which teachers are not just revising, they are teaching once again the clarity of concept. This I would say not just for senior school or for exam point of view. Our right from pre-primary, our teachers are clarifying once again on the blackboard or the whiteboard through with the help of smart boards also, once again what the concepts that are the gap that was there in the online classes can be filled up again. For a class 2 child, for example, a division sum may not be very clear. Once the teacher explains individually in a class, it's better. And also classroom teaching is effective, because the teacher need not just look or pay attention to the weak child or an average child, but even to an intelligent child, because an intelligent child must also surpass or outshine his previous performance. So that is very important, that every child gets attention, individual care, he is heard, and a happy child is what we all want ultimately in a school. So examinations are a challenge, but they are not difficult to meet, because if efficient teachers are working on it, and of course counseling, and like I said, keep the children busy, diverted, happy, and involved, they will always perform well.
Right. So, ma'am, you rightly said that schools are doing a lot with respect to helping students so that they can learn better. It can be easier for them to learn, right? But as we all know that when it comes to education, parents also play a vital role, because it's a partnership role between a parent and a school to upbring and grow the child, right? So, on this, I have my next question to Kanika ma'am. So, ma'am, what can parents do to make the transition easier for their children, right? So, what are the some other things parent can do to prepare children for back to school? Kanika, ma'am, you are on mute.
Yes. So first of all, the parents themselves have to understand that the school is the right place where there can be actual social development, physical development, and mental development of the child. Online classes were there, but they are just in substitute. They are not completely focusing on the all-round development.
Right.
The physical development, the kind of exposure that the children get in school in the physical classes, there is no substitute for that. So the parents themselves have to decide, like, the school is the right place where the education can be provided to the children. So they have to counsel the children, and they have to take out the children from the caring environment, and they should prepare the child mentally that he has to go to school.
Right, right. So I will quickly take the view of Shalu ma'am on the same. So Shalu ma'am, so like ma'am, Kanika ma'am mentioned that counseling from the parent end is required, and I'm of course it is very important, because parent at the end of the day they spend more time with their own kid, right? the understanding with an individual kid is better than a teacher interacting with a multiple kids, right? Kanika ma'am, are you saying something?
The parents are very protective. Actually, is the school's responsibility also to counsel the parent first.
Right, right,
Awareness session for them that your child is very safe in the school. And so before preparing the child, we have to prepare the parent.
right,
Yeah.
right. So
So
I will quickly take the view of Shalu ma'am also on this, that because I mentioned that it is a collaborative thing. It's a partnership between a school and a parent, right? So what should a parent can additionally do, ma'am? Also, the Kanika ma'am has mentioned, right? Shalu ma'am.
Now, you very rightly said that it's a equilibrium wherein the school, child, and the parent, they all come together. If you remember, a couple of months back, the schools wanted to reopen, but the parents were reluctant to send their wards to schools. Now
Right.
it's the other way around. Parents are really very interested and keen, and they're requesting the authorities, the government, that schools should reopen, because now what they are seeing is a very big change in the overall development of the child, especially in terms of emotional and social quotient.
Right.
So, of course, one is that now they understand that what really school does in the development of a child. Two, I think what Kanika ma'am also mentioned, that parent has to be counseled. See, when we create a kind of a culture in the organization where there is a lot of open communication, everything that we are doing, we are communicating well to the parent in a proper way. They understand the do's and don'ts, the positives and the negatives. And it's like a brainstorming session where we take inputs from them, share our views. So it's like a collaborative work we do with parents, because their participation is very, very important.
Right.
And if we can tell them how we are going to go about, how are we going to start this school, end the day, what all things are we going to be there for the child's welfare and well-being, I think they will be very keen and interested to send their children to school. So keep very open communication, make them part and parcel of your decision making body. And of course, if they really are interested to come and take a look at the hygiene and safety measures that the school is following, we must encourage them, because if they can build that confidence that my child is safe and will be taken care of, they will be very happy to send their children back to school.
Right.
So keep the communication flowing, keep an open door policy, make them part and parcel of all your decision making.
Right. So thank you, ma'am, for your view. Now, there's another important question, and I'm sure the schools in Noida and Gurgaon must be facing this issue. So I have this question for Shalini ma'am. So Shalini ma'am, as you know that, cities like Gurgaon and Noida, there are many parents who are living in these cities and they have moved back to their hometowns, right? And their children are attending classes online. So how will school manage the hybrid mode of studies, or do you have advice for them to come back to attend the physical classroom? So how you are managing this situation? Because I'm sure one or the other school is facing this issue, highly in Gurgaon and Noida. So Shalini ma'am.
Yes, yeah. In Gurgaon, there are a large number of, parents from our school, they were working with these multinationals.
Right.
And once, their work culture changed, some of them lost their jobs, some of them were working from home. They thought it's better to go back to their hometowns and continue with the online classes from hometown itself. It was cutting down the cost also, because it's very expensive to stay in metros.
Right.
So now, all those parents who where they started again going to the offices, they've come back, but still a large percentage of parents are still in their hometowns. So we've already informed them. Some of them are planning to come back, and others still are not very sure, because they don't have their jobs, or still their offices have not opened, and they would want to come back once their offices open. So we do plan to have one section completely online, other sections offline. If the need be, we might have a hybrid model also, where we feel we do not have a complete section, complete strength in a section for an online or offline, because our teachers, we cannot overburden them. First you teach in offline mode, then you go and teach in online mode. We also have to keep a balance. So this is something which we'll keep in mind. And I have all the plans to have one section completely as online, rest, so rest, 6 to 9 sections as offline, but need, if the requirement for, and the request from the parents, we are open to having, online and hybrid for another probably 6 months. We'll give them time, or if the need be, probably one more session. But we have told them, okay, for a couple of months we will, but try to come back, because this is the need. I mean, the classes are not that effective.
Right.
The online classes have not been effective. There are the huge gaps, if the one student to the other student, the gap is too much. Whereas when they were coming to the school, there was not much difference between a very good student and a good student.
Right.
Now the gaps are huge.
Right.
For obvious reasons, some children have been paying attention. Some way, parents have been ensuring that the child is studying, and other places the parents did not have time or whatever, or the children in the senior classes were very smart, not
Right.
studying and kind of, pretending that they are studying.
Right.
So this is
So, in fact, Shalini ma'am, a lot of school, they may have, or school may vary in terms of solutions when we talk about parents are there in the hometown and how they are addressing this issue. So I will just quickly take a quick feedback from Vandana ma'am on this. So ma'am, what is your quick view?
Sir, I would first of all like to inform the parents that it is 1.8 trillion hours of school education learning, which all over the world our children are facing a loss of. So 1.8 trillion hours of education. Definitely, our parents who are outside Gurgaon in their hometowns due to their job restrictions,
Right.
they are facing problems, financial problems also. But we as adults will adjust, because this time for children is not going to come back. So
Right.
as adults, we are supposed to adjust in limited means. We can cut down in our families wherever possible, but in school education, we cannot. I think
Right.
school education is like a bicycle. If you don't pedal, you don't go forward. So
Right.
school education is very important for children to understand, and for parents to know that it is very important that they come back. And so coming back to your question, that what I would tell these parents, it's important to come back, and for children also. So what else you would like to know from me, if I were
So
to
just because the solution may vary from school to school, that how they are addressing the parent who are living in the hometowns, they are gone back like long time back, and supposedly if their office are still on a work from home mode,
Yes.
so parents are little reluctant to come back, because Shalini ma'am rightly mentioned that it is a burden of cost, additional cost when they come back to the city like Gurgaon or Noida. They have a survival cost, they have a rental cost. So they are also kind of have comfort making their children attend the online classes. So how you are basically tackling this issue, ma'am?
We are trying to give both modes of learning. The hybrid is going on, online, offline, both. We are trying that whether it is notes or classwork or homework or any kind of extra coaching that needs to be given in an online scenario to the children who are outside Gurgaon, we are continuing with them. Many children are there who are not in Gurgaon, but still continuing the education with our school from outside. And for this session, that is currently going on, for the final assessments, for their Viva practicals, anything that we need to do with those children, we are conducting online session with them. We are continuing. In the new session, of course, it will be very good if parents can come back. That is what we are hopeful, and we don't thankfully have so many cases where parents are outside Gurgaon. But for everyone, I would say that wherever it is practically right for a child, that if parents have to forcibly continue to stay on, they should choose a school which is nearby, because a child must attend offline classes by and large as far as possible till the time the COVID is under control, until the time the government is giving permission and the guidelines for schools to reopen. Children must attend whichever town or city they are in. It's very essential for children to come back to the campus. They must immediately return. That is what I would tell the parents, and from our end, we are keeping the options open.
Right. So with this, this is essential for parents to send their wards to school. This is really important for the purpose of learning. And my next question is for Kanika ma'am. So, ma'am, as we all know that hybrid classes put more burden on teachers to manage and spend their time online and offline. So, what are you and the school is doing to support them? Because of course, it's an additional burden when they shift it to let's say online, right? Then they were completely cut off from the offline thing, right? Now it's a dual thing. They have to play a dual role, and the burden will be double to address. So one solution was mentioned by the Shalini ma'am that they have a different section to address offline and online. So Kanika ma'am, if you are available there, so we would like to take your quick view on this question. I guess somehow we are not able to connect to Kanika ma'am. So Shalu ma'am, I would just like to have your view quickly on this question, that how you are managing the teachers because they are now more burdened with this dual role of online and the offline as well.
Honestly, teachers' jobs are very cumbersome, and it has always been a very big responsibility that they're carrying on their shoulders. Teaching is not easy, just not easy. But yes, it was very challenging when everything had to switch to online, especially for a particular section of teachers who were the senior ones, who were a little aged. For them, coming to technology and you just imagine Hindi, Marathi, or regional language teachers, they were taking, and yoga instructors, dance teachers. It was completely chaos. But I think hats off to the teacher fraternity. They managed it very well. They learned, they bought so many new gadgets for them. We also learned so many applications, for example, Jamboard or anything else, whiteboards. And, we were trying every day, we were trying something new. It worked well. It gave us a different approach. Now, I think they are quite comfortable handling offline and online both. When I say comfortable, actually, I'm overdoing with this word, but still, I think they are now, the mindset is set that even if they have to take a hybrid class where online is also being taught and offline is also being taught, they are doing it. But it is not something that they can handle single-handedly. We need to ensure that it's a team teaching that's happening. So we have a beautiful concept of team teaching where a certain concept is taught by people from different subjects. Any concept can be always integrated into different subjects. So if I have to conduct a hybrid model, there have to be more people, because if there is a person talking online to the children, there is another person working with children who are there in the class. So if we can do a team teaching here, I think it will still be little comfortable. Some parents are not able to log in at that time, so we can also provide recordings of the offline sessions that are happening. So there are a lot of ways and methods, but teachers will not, one teacher cannot handle offline, online at the same time. It is practically very difficult and unimaginable. But if we provide help and if there are other people involved, so I've noticed that teachers are working like a team.
Right.
There were so many who didn't know the technology part that much. They were helped by the ones who were a little better. So I could see a lot of bonding and a lot of helping. I think we, in these months, we moved from being empathetic to being compassionate. So we added a new, dimension to our personality. So I think these are small things. If we can go ahead with it, it will still be easy. And like ma'am said, that probably for one more year, this hybrid model may continue.
Right. So thank you, ma'am, for your valuable feedback on this question. But again, we see a new set of challenge now. I don't know how this is going to be for this year, coming academic year. So I have this question for Vandana, ma'am. Like, ma'am, many parents did not take admission for their child in nursery, right? Or let's say any formal school for that matter. So what do you think for how it is going to be for the coming academic session, thinking the pandemic might prolong or may end? So what should a parent do and how should they think? Because we as UniApply also addressed a series of webinar where we interacted with, lot of parents during Delhi admission or admission in NCR. So we used to get a common question of like, can we skip nursery? Can we skip KG? So again, this is very important topic where parents should directly learn from a leader of school and can see that what could be the gaps if they opt for this, right? So, ma'am.
So the mother is the first teacher at home. That is fine. That is correct and true also. But we must understand that when the child turns 3, 3.5, and 4 and must come to nursery, pre-nursery and kindergarten, it is very essential to send the child to school. Many parents in the COVID scenario thought that we can teach the child at home. It is just ABC and 1, 2, 3, and we'll do the coaching at home, but it was not the right decision. Today, many parents regret their decision of last year or the year before last when they discontinued schooling and preschooling, and the child today eligible for class 1 is going to see the school campus for the first time and has just been studying at home, which is very, very limited. See, in a school, whether it is class nursery or it is class 12, each day of school is important, because in a school, it is professional teachers who are working and trained teachers who are working towards bringing in different variety of curriculum, which is important. And it was maybe only for a day, it might have been difficult when the online classes started. It was not difficult to, for a 3.5 or a 4-year-old nursery kindergarten children to make them study in an online scenario in a Zoom 40-minute session from a stranger, a teacher whom they've never met. It was not so difficult, because you can always play games with children for a week's time or 15 days time. You need not get into curriculum and writing. Holding a pencil is not important in pre-primary. So it's their listening skills, their speaking skills, their analytical skills, their emotional skills, their creative intelligence that has to be tested. So there are many areas where, because of which the child must step out and must go into the campus. So whether, depending on the COVID scenario, if it is offline, options are there. Parents must send. They must not waste one academic year. 365 days of schooling they should not waste. If it is online, then also I would appeal to the parents that even if it is nursery or KG, child must attend a class, must have a routine, and must participate, must see their peer group, the children also answering, participating in an interactive session with the teachers. So there is a lot of creative intelligence that is at stake. There is a lot of emotional growth that is at stake. A lot of behavioral issues that will come up later if children do not get trained and learn in a way which is a playway method, which are simple things that teachers are trained to involve the children in, keep them occupied, attract their attention, and so on. So I think since it's a lifelong learning, these are basic years, fundamental years for a very young mind. And it's not that it's a half a day, or it's not even equal to the long working hours of school. It could be 2 to 3 sessions that according to screen time, according to working parents from home, or if children are just managing on their own, parent children timings can be adjusted, school hours can be adjusted, and along with some activity. It could be simple aerobics, it could be simple yoga, it could be simple exercises, art and craft, dance, music. There is so much that the teachers can do with the children. And in an online scenario, like we even took children out for excursions in an online scenario. Of course, nobody was going anywhere. We were all at home, but then those excursions were possible, whether it was heritage sites, whether it was different forests in the world. Children were taken, and a kind of a picnic was also arranged in an online scenario. So there's lots that teachers can do. So parents should not keep that gap, whether it is nursery, KG, or any middle school, senior class children. Parents should not waste that time for the child.
Right. So thank you, ma'am, for sharing this important feedback with us with respect to this question. So now I'll quickly move to Shalu, ma'am. So Shalu, ma'am, these 2 years were tough, I'm sure, and parents were actually struggling with lot of issues, whether on the education front or let's say their life, job losses, job switching, and moving back to it was even a new learning for those parents who move from physical office to work from home mode, right? So with this, for those parents who were supposed to admit their child in the primary classes, and it was probably in the case of the first child. So how your school actually addressed that issue? I'm sure that your school was accepting application and still accepting application on UniApply, right? So how you help those parents in the admission process, right, from application till the admission happened in the school? So
Our admission procedure is very, very simple and parent friendly. And at the same time, it's 100% online.
right,
If a parent is interested to enroll his or her child in high school here, all they have to do is visit the website, fill a very simple form and submit the form. This
right,
form, we get this data collated and it reaches our telecallers. Then these telecallers speak to the parent to understand their requirement and
right,
preferences. After that, the admission counselors are connected to the parents. It's all telephonic conversations.
right,
And then the admission counselor will explain the entire curriculum, the other aspects, co-scholastic, scholastic, then fee structures. We try to understand what exactly the parent is looking for in this school. If all goes well, then we have a virtual meeting.
right,
The principal, that's me, and my team of teachers, we meet the parent online, and we also interact with the child. Now, I do understand that past 2 years, children have had very different experiences of learning. So
right,
what we follow is a very simple developmental milestone chart. We know that if a child is of this particular age group, what are the developments he should have had? So
right,
our evaluation is basis those skill development. We try to see if the child has been able to do something at home and has been able to develop those particular skills. We are not really looking at the academic knowledge right now, because I understand that we'll have to start from a different level. Like normally if a child comes to grade 3, then we start with 3 textbooks, but this year 3 grade curriculum will have certain components of 1 and 2 as well, because we have to bridge that gap. We
right,
may have bridge course before we start the academic session, wherein we cover core concepts in English, maths, and science of the previous at least 1 grade, to make sure that once they come. So we evaluate these things during our online interaction. And after that, the parent has to submit the documents. It's a no paper form application that we follow. All the documents are submitted online. They are verified by us. The fee depositing, everything is online. So right now, if a parent is unable to visit school or does not want to for safety reasons, everything is available online. But
right,
if they wish to do part of it online and a part of it they want to come and physically see, even the virtual tour of the school is handled by the admission team. It's all online. But
right,
if somebody is coming over, they do come and see, and some of the area is covered online, a part of it is covered offline. So that was designed to make sure that parents are not uncomfortable coming all the way, or they are not disturbed bringing their child along. So we are looking at admission process in this fashion as of now. And like I said, we'll be planning bridge courses before the
right,
session start to cover up the missed out concepts.
right. So I will in fact quickly take that the how TVS and the Moria School, eased out the process of admission for the parent, and I would just want every speaker to be stick on 1.5 minute reply so that we can conclude this session on time. So Vandana ma'am, over to you with this question.
Yes, thanks to digital technology, admission process is very simple, it's easy, and parents are most welcome to join our live classes that are currently going on to see how things are happening, classes are conducted. Parents are welcome to have an interactive virtual session with the admission head or with the school head, and they can clarify all doubts. We have the school website where we have the brochure. Parents can fill it online, and all details are there online. So we need not have a long telephonic data to be shared, because everything along with pictures is there for parents to see. Any queries that they have, they can contact us, and since the payment is online, forms are online, so there is no problem. It's a quick and satisfactory mode of admissions.
Right. So, Shalini ma'am, if you would like to add something to this, or you may tell
Yeah.
your process.
Our online, admission is happening through UniApply only, and whatever, leads we get from you people, our admission counselor follows it up. And after that, we have a very simple, interaction on Microsoft Teams. And we also know there have been a lot of gaps. So we're not very stringent with our admission process this year, because we know the child has missed out a lot in these last 2 years. So we basically we basically see, in senior classes, the basic level of, right, mathematics and reading and writing skills. And junior classes, of course, we're not at all, worried about the academics part, because we know that we will cover it up with our own children. And
Right.
pre-primary, of course, we really don't have to. We just have to interact with the parents. So everything can be conducted online. We also have a virtual tour on our website in case if they want to see the infrastructure. It's there on the website, or if they want to visit, they're most welcome.
Right. So, Kanika ma'am, your quick view on how the Surat school eased out the process of admission, the online admission, since now UniApply also helps school to, kind of ensure their visibility on the platform, and parent can actually discover and apply online. So, ma'am, how the Surat school took initiative to actually eased out the entire process, Kanika ma'am?
See, the parents can apply with both the modes through UniApply also and through school website also. And we have clearly mentioned all the details, admission related details on the website. And our team of admission counselors are always ready to connect with the parents. And we are sharing all the information on all other social media channels also about the virtual tour, about the infrastructure, about the activities, the kind of activities the children are involved in, and what is our teaching methodology. So the parents can directly walk in also, and they can apply through the school website or UniApply also. So our team is always ready to answer all the queries of the parents, and they can also fix the meeting with the principal, and they can come and take the counseling session also.
Right. That's really good to know, ma'am.
We are
So,
also sharing any parenting tips with the parents, like
right.
what are the challenges they are facing and how they can overcome with all the challenges in this scenario.
Right, right. So, as we could learn from all of you that schools are actually helping students, parents, and the entire process to, easing out for each stakeholder, even for the teachers, to make it easy delivery for kids, so that the learning and the end goal of education can be, meet, and all the society can take the advantage of this education system. So I would like to thank you all for sparing your time and coming here and sharing your view on back to school, right? And this is really important for parent to learn, right? We tried, and we tried to help parent to learn more that how schools are putting their effort to back on track again. They are walking extra mile to help their kid, right? So parents also need to walk and take an additional step to send their wards to school, because I could learn from all of you, and especially Vandana ma'am mentioned that school is the only way out, and you have to send your ward to the school in the physical form, and that is how it is going to work for the education system. So with this, I would like to thank you all the viewer and all the eminent panelists for sparing the time and sharing your views. And UniApply will keep bringing such webinars for the parent. Stay tuned with us. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and other social handles. And we would happy to help you. If you have any query, you can ask on the social platform. And with this, I would like to sign off. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you so much.